Hi there, I'm Aly Elliott.
Hi guys, I'm Aly Elliott. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to continue the Hiraeth series, the story behind the story, the bereaved siblings project. Today, thank you to the nudge that I received to get these finished. I wasn't sure if anybody was still interested in seeing these through to completion, but it's something that I want to finish regardless. So I appreciate the little push to make that happen. I'm going to continue today with Isaiah and Herbie, a dear friend of mine. Is their mother, and we'll talk about their image, and we'll talk about their story and all the little Easter eggs that we tucked into this image. So here we've got this was one of the images that they didn't live that far away, but it was just far enough that it was difficult to make happen scheduling wise, and we got it done the last year that I was working on the Hiraeth photos. I not edited them, but I was still working on getting the actual sessions completed. And when I say session, it wasn't really a session. These were all 10-15 minutes. We'd meet somewhere, whatever weather conditions, whatever location we could get to, wherever we could make this happen. That's how it happened, and everybody was so amazing working with me scheduling. And this was one of those things, we were passing through town and we had a very small window to stay on schedule, and they were amazing to work with me and make it happen. And we met noonday sun, bright day, no cloud cover. The cloud cover that you see in the image is computer generated. And, you know, it's not ideal, but it was the way it needed to happen for it to happen. And I'm really glad that we did. I met Herbie and Isaiah's mom shortly after Keely passed on the Miss Foundation forums, and I'm very grateful to know all the mothers that I know there and to have gone through this grief process together, and to have somebody that can call on that is in the same time period of grief as you. Our kids would have been the same age, close to the same age, and you go through that together, and that's something that nobody else can empathize with. And we don't go through all the things at the same time, but we're on the same boat, and there's somebody there that you can talk to, and they'll listen, and you can cry together and do whatever, and just help support each other. I'm eternally grateful to the Miss Foundation forums for that outlet, for that lifeline that I continue to call on today. And it was a big part of this project happening. And thank you to the Miss forums, to Joanne, and to, you know, Cheyenne. We're grateful for you. So we'll go over this image today, go to some of the more raw images, and just kind of point out some of the Easter eggs. The idea behind the scene. So I wanted to create this moment for this image. I had a lot of moving parts. So we had the less than ideal lighting scenario, but we had this playground that we were able to meet at. And as a bereaved mother, and maybe this is non-bereaved mothers do this too, so you are constantly counting heads, making sure everybody is there, everybody's where they need to be, everybody's safe, all that good stuff. And then I always give that silent number. For me, it's a 6. After all my babies were born, I'd count heads to 5, and then I would give my silent 6, because I knew that was for my Keely. Then I was just counting her. And you do that almost subconsciously. You're just constantly counting to whatever your number is. And you're counting kind of the shadows off in your peripheral vision. And that's what I wanted to create with this image, was just the shadow, just a glimpse, just a peek into them being there for a moment. And their parents, you know, we've just met in person twice. once to shoot the image and once at the opening. But you get to know people online, and especially going through the trenches, being down in the trenches together of bereavement that we were, you get to know somebody well, and their parents are fun and joyful, and I wanted that to be a part of this image too. Movement and happy and bright and glowing, and people that, despite having been through so much, just exude joy, just glow with it. So that was definitely a big part of this. I definitely wanted to incorporate a rainbow, because not only did Isaiah Daniel pass away in October of 2008 at 37 weeks, but their rainbow baby, Herbie, passed at 15 weeks in May of 2014. So they had a long and hard journey through the loss of their boys. And I wanted that bright rainbow, their beautiful Zoe, to be a part of it. And the sun flare became an integral part of that story as well. Now you'll also see in there the classic Winnie the Pooh toy. That was actually a Pooh toy that I had for my rainbow baby, who was born in 2008. So it was kind of a full circle. They wanted to incorporate classic Winnie the Pooh. That was Isaiah's nursery theme. So it made sense to me to use my son's toy, because he was our rainbow baby, and that was a symbolic note. The VW bug. So I'm just going to quote here. We called Herbie our little love bug. That is how he got his name, and that is how we incorporated the little VW car. And the one that we actually used, those weren't shot. Obviously, those were composited in, and I mentioned that I used my rainbow babies, classic Winnie the Pooh toy, and the VW bug that I used was a little model car that my dad had, because my parents' first car together was a little red VW bug. So he's got a little model car of it up on his desk. And I think it's cool that these little Easter eggs that are tucked in there are personal items too, and not, you know, just something out of the dollar bin, which I have a lot of that stuff sitting around too. But I loved that we could incorporate these things in a playful way. And anybody who knows this family knows they love their pets. So we had to have the dogs in there, and I wanted it to be in a way where the dogs were seeing what we couldn't see, and joyful and playing, and that was part of the jumping and the playful puppiness that we incorporated into this image. Zoe is their sister, and her feet, her head, her shape, everything. You know, she was the source for this glimpse of her brothers. And because they would have been big boys, they would have been, at the time we shot this, 11 and 6. And, you know, to have a little baby girl take the shape of her brothers, you think it might be an issue, but it came together, I feel, beautifully, and I could really feel their movement in there. There aren't a lot of hidden Easter eggs. It's just the meaning was hidden in this image, and you can kind of see from the originals that I played around. I took some artistic liberties with the scenery around there just to keep the focus on what we were there for, which was their family and their joy and their playfulness. And I'll read now what their mother wrote, that question that was stumping everyone. And I want you to pay special attention to this first line that she wrote, because it's a sentiment that I feel like a lot of bereaved families share. And I heard this sentiment over and over, and I feel like that might be true for me too. I don't know if that's something that you're conscious of. But listen up. She said, "I think deep down I always knew that our boys weren't mine to keep. This doesn't lessen the pain from their absence at all, but I think it serves as a reminder that I'm where I'm meant to be. I miss them with every ounce of my being, and I look forward to the day when we're reunited. I'm a better mother, wife, and friend because of my boys, and I'm so thankful to be their mom. I've met some of the absolute most beautiful people on this journey, and I'm forever grateful for the camaraderie and love that got me through those darkest days." That is the story of Isaiah and Herbie, and I am utterly blessed to have been a part of telling it. And I'm so grateful to the family for participating in Hiraeth in this project. And, we've been through it together, and I am very grateful for you guys. And I'm so glad that I got to see you in person the night that you got to see this image. And I'm very grateful to the rest of you for following along on this journey, not only through the whole process of creating them, but now reliving those moments as well. And I will continue working through. We're in the home stretch now. Tomorrow we will, or in the next few days, we'll discuss Michael and Clara and the story behind their image. The very first image for Hiraeth created that was not of my own children, but they are a part of my family. So I will share that with you guys very soon. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for following along. Please make sure you subscribe on here, follow on Twitch, follow on Instagram, and we'll keep the stories coming. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
That's why you my mommy. Please.